Good morning, hello, good afternoon, whenever you're watching. I am Ed.
I am Colton.
And we're here with another episode of Grind Culture Podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
Again, thank you for watching us, tuning in, and a couple little updates here with the podcast. We're in revamp mode, I feel like.
Yeah.
And a little curtain behind the scenes, my camera broke. We're using Colton's iPhone. Just a little... I guess we're a little rusty, but I think I was telling you before this, I have so many ideas and so many things. My creativity muscle is just like through the roof right now, and I just want to release it. So
Let's go.
you're going to be looking at new thumbnails. I'm sure you saw the last one. I'm going to try to play around with it, have fun with it after all, because what's not a podcast if you're not having fun with it at least.
That's right.
New logo for us for Apple iTunes. I'm going to try to get us on Spotify. I'm going to try to get us on other platforms, some that have been requested and just some that we're not even utilizing. And I feel like, why not, you know?
Yeah.
So little updates for you there. And thank you for your patience. Colton, thank you for your patience in all of this, because
Yeah, likewise.
I thought my camera broke, but hey, I think you're right. I think it's just a new battery.
Yeah, it's not broken.
And we're here with another episode 2 of this season, episode 30 overall. And we're getting down back to brass tacks. And what I mean by that is coffee.
Yep.
Where the market is with coffee. What are your thoughts with coffee now that it's been nearly almost a year since we... Not even a year. When did we start this podcast?
About a year ago.
About a year ago, right?
Yeah.
It's been nearly a year since we started it. I'm sure we have different opinions, what we're drinking, and just like things that we've been seeing around the news, around the local news, big time global news, so on and so forth. So let's start off with, what are we drinking right now? What kind of coffee do we enjoy from a day-to-day basis?
Well, what's in our cup right now is some whiskey barrel aged Guatemalan coffee.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
It's like probably 2 months old from a bag that we had laying around, and it's still good.
Yeah, it is.
Just shows that our coffee is high quality, because bad coffee does not. I mean, bad coffee just doesn't taste good, but especially if it wasn't good, then 2 months later, it definitely wouldn't be good. It would be stale and gross. So, let's see. Drinking that right now. At home, what am I drinking? I drink a lot of Brew Decaf that we have here.
Oh.
I just like drinking coffee a lot, so decaf is always a good option. We have a really good decaf.
Now, you drink decaf for the decaffeinated purposes of what? Just not to get too...
Yeah, because I feel like if I have like 3 cups of normal coffee a day, that's when I really start getting the headache. Mm-hmm. And I just hate like waking up and just being like, oh, I need a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But it feels like I stay at 2, and then if I want extra, stay with decaf, then I feel like it's pretty manageable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not big on painkillers or taking any of that in my body, so stay away from it. Drinking that, and then I always do have like a fun like special coffee laying around. Either it being from here that we roast, like one of our monthly coffees that's something lighter and bright, something that I can make like a flash brew out of, or even just like a good pour over. Mm-hmm. Or I like just picking up a bag from a local coffee shop or roaster and supporting them and seeing what they're all into right now, and something that's kind of like funky with like a weird process, or just something that we don't have here. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit more bougie, you can say, for the coffee snobs like us. So
yeah.
That's what I'm drinking at home. Other than home drinking coffee shops, we're huge on Abode right now. Shout out to Abode in Wildemar. Mm-hmm. Cam and his crew. We just love them. Every Sunday we go, and it is phenomenal. I feel like they get better, which is really cool, because a lot of coffee shops get worse. Mm-hmm. So,
speaking of Abode, they order our decaf.
They do.
And I think that provides 2 things. It goes to show that Abode cares about their coffee, because though I don't ever think that we got into the decaf process before, Swiss Water is how would you describe Swiss Water decaf compared to the normal decaf?
Swiss Water is like the grass-fed organic version of decaffeinated coffee. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking to get your coffee without chemicals or any harmful substances being used to decaffeinate the bean, Swiss Water is the way to go because they just use water. So that's pretty legit. And apparently they go through it pretty fast because Cameron orders a lot. And then I've heard some people talking about it before. Like, oh, this place has the best decaf coffee.
At Abode?
Yeah, at Abode. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's fun. That's funny because, one, you don't think that they're, I mean, granted, he orders what? I mean, I don't want to give his business or whatever away, but he orders a certain amount, and it's like weekly that he picks up, right? And to me, I never thought that decaf coffee would be ordered so much at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Where it almost surprised me that he orders so much of it from us. On top of that, the process in which we supply our decaf coffee, which is Swiss Water, I didn't know how valuable or how much of a reputation it had until somebody came in and saw the Swiss Water logo on our wall, and they're like, whoa, you have Swiss Water coffee? Like, it was almost rare to get. And
that's funny.
That's when I started doing research and even introduced it on my shop, the Swiss Water process decaf coffee. And I was like, whoa, it is a big deal. I didn't know how big of a deal it was, but I mean, it improves the taste, it improves the quality, it improves the longevity, it improves the health benefits, right? What else did you think? Just based off the benefits of
I think they use just good coffee.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that kind of use chemicals or go a different route than Swiss Water, I think they can kind of get away with using like a crappy process. And then also a lot of people take decaf dark roasted, right? So they're just thinking, oh, this will just go in a generic conventional cafe.
Yeah.
It'll be served as decaf at a diner. It can be not good quality. A lot of people don't drink it, so it's not really cared for.
Yeah.
I think Swiss Water is a legit business, and they actually pick good coffee to first decaf. So it's not like they buy crummy coffee and use the good process. They use good coffee and use their process. So
Right.
It's just legit all around, and I'm glad that that's the only decaf coffee that we have in house. Yeah.
So going back to what our original conversation was, if you're drinking outside, it's Abode. And if you're drinking at home, it's you're a big coffee shop. You're getting like local coffee shop beans from local coffee shops, or just trying. I don't like the word bougie because I like to think that coffee shops are making an effort in providing good coffee to those who are seeking good coffee. To those who know what actually good coffee is, right?
Yeah. Coffee at its like pure state.
So I think, not that it's like disrespectful or anything, but I think out of respect to the guys that care about the taste and the notes and the quality of the coffee, you just like a good cup of coffee because you've trained your palate, you've gone through the steps to know, oh, this is a good tasting coffee. This has these notes that I like.
Yeah.
I like it. And it's expensive, but it's expensive for a reason because I know the process in which it got to this point and the quality in which it got to this point.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And I'll drink like pour overs and flash brews throughout the week, and then usually on the weekends, like mornings, I'll treat myself to like a latte. I don't drink a lot of lattes like milk based, but I do like them a lot. And for those, like for my espresso machine at home, I'll use like a nice medium roast that we're using here. I don't go above medium roast ever. Dark roast, I think, is just why.
Dark roast.
We've talked about it before, and we'll talk about it again, but not right now.
Yeah.
But at home on my espresso machine, really just like nice. Like I use our Mexico a lot for my espresso, like the base if I'm doing lattes and stuff. So. Just bold enough to like really be nice in a latte.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't go darker. I don't like it. So.
What do you make for your family? Because I know you have a nice coffee setup at home. Pretty much like a mini coffee bar. I know what you drink now.
Yep.
What does everybody else in your family drink? And do you make it for them?
So my wife, she is latte only type.
Yeah.
She doesn't like her black coffee. She likes a good base of a good tasting coffee. She can definitely tell now, like when she gets a really bad, she knows the difference between a bad latte and a good latte. Like she knows, she knows what, like, you can taste it through the milk, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, that was,
Is it the coffee you use, or the milk you use, or the syrup that she uses, or all of the above?
that I used to make her.
Yeah, like how does she know like it's a bad latte?
I think just like I trained my palate to like black coffee, I think her palate is now used, because I mean, I make her coffee every day. Make her coffee in the morning, make her coffee at night. And then when she goes to, say, Starbucks, or if she has somebody else, like if she's at a friend's house and they like have a pot of coffee, she notices the difference. She's like, oh.
Yeah.
So we're definitely both spoiled. But she likes her lattes and her creamer, and a lot of honey cinnamon lattes.
Oh yeah.
Usually iced too. She likes iced coffee.
Yeah.
So I'll make that for her. And then the girls, I make coffee, in quotations, if you can't see me. I'll let them sip on my coffee or Brittany's coffee, just like little sips. And then I'll make them like little milk steamers and just call it coffee.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, we're having coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're stoked on that. And then, of course, if friends and family come over, I always make people coffee. Anybody that walks in my home, I'm making you coffee no matter what time of day it is. So.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's a nice gesture.
I always make people coffee, and I just kind of see like, hey, I just try making them like the best cup of coffee they've ever had.
Yeah.
So I just see like, okay, what do you normally drink? All right, I got you.
People will remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that they remember you by. Like, oh, that guy made me a nice cup of coffee.
Right. Because nice. You do remember your best cup of coffee. So
yeah.
Just trying to be that, set that standard high.
That reminds me of just a quick story. That reminds me of a guy that I used to work with. He says he always carries around he always goes to the bank like every month, and he'll just pull out like a wad of $2 bills. And he goes, I don't tip with anything else besides a $2 bill. And people love it. No matter the amount, they just see a $2 bill and they love it. And they remember me for that.
I like that.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty pimpin' move that you do. I might need to
steal
steal that
cool.
one.
That's cool. We actually, we send $2 bills to my like niece and nephew for like, just like fun holidays.
Yeah.
And they love it. But anyways, enough about me. Same questions to you. What are you drinking? What are you into right now? Coffee shops, what are you going to, if you're going to them? What are you using for your espresso machine? What are you enjoying at work?
Okay, so my routine has recently changed, like I think the past week, because though I was drinking Americanos a lot at work, first of all, I used to enjoy a cup of coffee at home.
Yeah.
In the mornings as soon as I woke up, but when I started going to the gym a lot, I just felt like I didn't have time for my cup of coffee, like a relaxing cup of coffee, because it was either I wake up, I go work out, and then I only have like so much time to make a coffee and enjoy it.
Right. And
I didn't like the rush of it. So I started coming to work after the gym, I get ready, come to work like 30 minutes early, and I would have my cup of coffee here, an Americano usually. That until recently, my daughter Eloise at home started making my coffee for me.
Yeah.
And it was Americanos because it's very easy. I taught her how to measure coffee. I taught her how to prep it, how to put it in the into the espresso machine. Easy as pressing a button.
Nice.
And then the espresso machine I have has like an Americano setting where you just press hot water and it just shoots out hot water until it's like their standard for like Americano margin. And so she knows how to make it. Though it's extremely messy when she does it.
Yeah.
I still love the effort in her making it. And then I came across this video of a little girl making latte art. So that's what I really want to show her how to do next.
That'd be awesome.
I would obviously have to like steam the milk for her because it gets hot and I don't want her to burn herself. But I do want her just to like hold the cup of coffee and just pour in milk. And then I'll just have her do the circle, and then I'll have her do like other things, and just try to get her used to that, because she loves making my coffee, especially on the weekends when I'm there. She was like, Dad, I'm gonna make your coffee, go sit down. I was like, okay.
Sweet.
Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it doesn't, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah,
so
I mean, in a year or something, if you're consistent, she'll probably be making you a good cup of coffee.
Exactly. And so that brought my love back for lattes, where I used to there was a good amount of time where I just didn't drink it anymore because I got tired of the milk. I got tired of the process. I just wanted to relax and have a quick cup of coffee just because my time was so diluted. But now I brought oat milk this week, and I've been making my lattes.
Sweet.
And practicing my latte art.
Mm-hmm.
And to my dismay, or to my surprise rather, I got better at it.
Nice.
Even after like taking so much time of not doing it. So I brought oat milk. I'll probably bring it again next week. And I've just been practicing so I could show her how to do it with whatever milk she wants to use. I mean, with me, obviously I have to use oat milk because other milk, bad news for old Ed. So yeah, I just been drinking lattes in the morning now, and at home. Funny that you mentioned Brittany knows how like the tell of like a bad coffee. Lindsay's the exact same way. Granted, Lindsay was working at Starbucks and she got well into coffee before I did. She got like her little masters, not little, I don't want to say that. She got her coffee master program done at Starbucks whenever they had it. I don't know if they do that anymore, but she did it. And she knew about notes. She knew how to like taste a cup of coffee and use her palate well enough to like, oh yeah, this has these notes, and write them down, and oh, this pairs well with this, and blah blah blah. And I always forget that she was into coffee before I was.
Right. So
when every time she makes a latte, she likes iced Americanos right now, but and she likes to make her own. She doesn't like me doing it. So every time she makes, but she is picky about the coffee that I bring home, and I bring home blonde for our espresso.
Nice.
Just because I like the Uganda that we have that's in our blonde.
Yeah.
As well as the guat. I think they go well together.
We just changed it up, by the way.
What to what?
Sorry to be a bearer.
To what is it? What is it?
So it just happened yesterday.
Oh, what is it?
So the Uganda sadly ran out.
No.
Yeah. But that was delicious.
Is it back to Ethiopia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's still good. And it's good Ethiopia too.
Yeah.
So Ethiopia and Guatemala. So it's back to the original, but it's going to be good.
Breaking news exclusive.
Breaking news. You heard it here first.
Well, we're going to have I might have to change it up. Yeah, sorry, Lindsay. So maybe I'll have to bring some home. Maybe she'll like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
either way, good coffee.
Yeah, it was good. It was great coffee while it lasted. We've been drinking that. I've been using that for my Americanos, not my lattes. No cream or no like syrup or anything.
Nice.
But she knows how to tell, like either we need to descale the espresso machine, or the grind is wrong, or the taste is off. I brought breakfast home, and she knew immediately, like, this isn't blonde, this is breakfast, or is something else. I was like, oh, yeah,
what is this?
Yeah, you're right. It was old breakfast because we ran out of blonde. So yeah, she likes iced Americano. She doesn't let me make it. She makes it herself, which is fine. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been getting back into my lattes and my latte art because I want to be practicing more. And just for my sake and for Eloise's sake, because I think she's going to like doing that. And then Lindsay drinks iced Americanos. Do we go out? Rarely. Mm-hmm. We got into the point, and I for bad or for good, we got into the point where, you know, when you start cooking a lot and you get so used to cooking and you like the way you cook meals, even though I'm not saying it's like 100% like tastes like the best you've ever had, but you're so used to the taste and you know what's going in it. When you go out and order like the same kind of thing, it's just like, I paid so much for this. It doesn't taste as good or better, even better than what I make at home.
Way better.
And I spent all this money and we went out, and for what? Yeah. We got into that point with coffee almost where like we like making it at home. We like the way it tastes when we prepare it. And so when we go to a coffee shop, and I'm not going to name any names, but we went to one this weekend, we were just disappointed. And it's
you should just say their name, call them out.
No, because because I do like them. They're local, and I respect that they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're not new.
Been around for a while.
They're not new. They're not new. But in a coffee shop, any coffee shop, minus Abode, because our boy Cameron works there, and we know Cameron, there's going to be turnover. And so the consistency of your coffee cup is not going to be the same at home, because at home you're making it, you have a way of making it, and you make it the same way every time.
That's right. And you get better.
And you get better at it.
Right. And
when you go to a coffee shop and there's a lot of turnover,
and they've expanded into multiple locations,
then it's obvious, not obvious, but there's evidence. It's going to be evidential that they're going to not going to be as good as what it used to be, or is it just going to be a lot of variables to the quality of coffee that you get?
Yeah, and it's hard to train all these new people coming in and keeping the standard high.
Yeah.
So
that's
sad.
It is sad because we like going out. We like enjoying a cup of coffee and being communal. Other people go in there in the morning, and we all live there, and kind of like a watering hole, not alcohol wise, but coffee wise. All of like the community could go gather and enjoy a cup of coffee and just enjoy each other's company. You run into people, I ran into Nate at this place before. I ran into other people that I knew.
Yep.
And so it sucks. But at the same time, like, I appreciate that I'm able to make a good cup of coffee at home.
Me too.
I appreciate that I work here and I'm able to take coffee, and like learn about coffee. So
we were just talking about that, like how grateful we are about like having good coffee at our fingertips.
Yeah. So, with that, it sucks, but at the same time, like, it sucks that it's inconsistent. It sucks that it's getting expensive, which we'll talk about here in a second. But it's a nice reminder that, hey, you can make coffee at home and it's going to be good.
Yep.
And I encourage anybody to make coffee at home.
Yeah, me too.
So
if you're let me just say real quick, side note, if you're a specialty coffee shop and your product's supposed to be on a different level than generic coffee shops like Starbucks, McDonald's, like gas station.
Yeah.
Like if you're a specialty coffee shop and if you're not keeping the standards to what they started to be or what they should be, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but with coffee prices getting so high, people are just going to go to the cheaper stuff if they can get consistency.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather get something that's consistent. Like, I'd rather go to Starbucks knowing that that's exactly what I'm going to get rather than going to a coffee shop and it's like spending double the money for maybe a good cup of coffee.
I know. It sucks.
So it's hard. It's really hard. So, if you're listening and you're doing a coffee shop and you might be struggling in some areas, hey, go back to the foundational stuff.
Yeah, that or just like get your training down, make sure you're hiring passionate people, not people that just are there to work.
Yep.
I know it's kind of sucky to say, but like,
yeah, you're always going to have those workers, but
yeah, I mean, if you want to represent your company well, make sure you have good representation.
Yep. But and if they don't, then they don't last.
Right.
They move on to the next job. They move on to the fast food.
Yeah. So that being said, coffee is getting expensive.
Yes.
And we see it, obviously, where you work in the industry. And I'm sure we see it reflected in coffee shops. And if anybody doesn't know and they go to their local coffee shop and it's expensive now or what it used to be, it's everywhere, really. And I talk to our partners about this often, and they say, well, they're kind of taken aback about some of the prices that I talk to them about, or like they see our price list or whatever. And I explain to them, like, look, we're not alone in this. Coffee prices are going up for everyone if you're not big time industry. It's just what's happening in the market right now, much like what would happen if like plastic got expensive, like overseas plastic, and now like everything made out of plastics is rising in price. Right. It's kind of the same thing with coffee, and it's not just us, it's everywhere. But so people that don't know and they just go to a coffee shop and they see, hey, your prices are increasing. There's a reason behind it. I would like to think that coffee shops have not the wherewithal, but like they have the open communication to their customers that like if they're asked, hey, your coffee price has gone up. It's like, oh yeah, well, coffee prices, like farming or
well, green coffee prices are
importing. Yeah, green coffee prices
importation. Time of history. In history, coffee is the most expensive.
Yeah. So a PSA for anybody listening that's going to a local coffee shop and don't know the market of the green coffee prices, they're up, all time high.
Yes. And
it's unfortunate, but that's what it is right now. Right.
And in 20 years, it probably be the highest it's ever been too. So
yeah.
It's kind of just like going with the flow. Yeah. I mean, it's sad, and hopefully, I mean, the reason for the price increase is kind of lame because, I mean, a lot of people are saying some of the supply isn't there, but it's there. But it's really just a lot of like the farmers and people in control of the big lots and everything. They're just like making guesses on what the next season's going to look like or the season after that. So it's a lot of those like high projected numbers that are just being thrown out there, you know, so you got a lot of stuff just going up and up and up and up and up and to see what happens. So it's hard to tell what's going to do. There has been actually kind of like a flat line this week actually of coffee prices, and we've seen like a little bit of a dip, which is kind of nice because it was just going up every day, which was really annoying. So hopefully it's on that trend down. Who knows? And then hopefully coffee shops and stuff don't have to keep their prices so high. Hopefully it can actually knock. I mean, I've never seen a place knock prices back down, but that would be pretty cool to see. I actually don't think I've seen any product like, oh, okay, we're good now. Like, let's go back down rather than keeping the prices.
That's interesting.
But hey, shout out to Mountains to Waves. I heard that owner didn't even raise prices during all this. So what up?
Yeah.
I don't even care.
Go buy from Mountains to Waves.
No, I actually told one person, I was like, I'm not going to be part of the problem. I was like, if I start breaking even, sure, I'll raise it $1 or $2. But I was like, I'm not going to be part of the problem right now. I'm going to try surviving through it, and hopefully my prices will be the same through it. So we'll see. My margins are just getting tighter. So, but I think, you know, supporting the people that have been supporting me so long and just helping them out. And life is so expensive anyways on everything. It's like I want to do everything in my part not to be part of the problem. So it's like my profit margins aren't as important as giving people good coffee, and I'd rather see people stick around and invest in good coffee rather than saying, okay, I can't afford this anymore, you just upped your prices, I'm gonna go back to grocery store coffee. It's like, it's not worth it to me. I'd rather get real close and then be like, okay, I have to, otherwise it's not worth it even. It's not worth having a business. But that's just where I'm at. That's me as a business owner. That's my decision.
Yeah, that's admirable of you, but also you have a trait where it's really hard to say this, but greed doesn't take over your business or your life, because you as a person, just like you said, you care about the customer and not about how much the customer is paying.
Yeah.
So I think that's very I mean, I didn't raise prices either, but you are more in business than I am. You sell a lot more coffee than I do, so it's very it's cool that you didn't do that to your customers, because I see your brand shelling out product, and I think that is reflective of your decision for not raising coffee prices and just hoping that it goes back down, and we're kind of in a rut right now.
Right.
Not that I encourage everybody to do that, you know. I mean, business is a business, but
no, and like I said, I'm in a very cool spot where this is my side hustle. It's not my way of life. So I can make decisions a little bit more like lenient rather than somebody that this is their well-being. They're trying to feed their family based off of this income. So I get it then. You got to keep up. You got to do what you got to do. You got to bring more people in that are getting the new prices. You know, you got to explain it to your old customers why you're doing so, and hopefully they support. Have that support behind you. So that's just my personal, you know, choices.
No, yeah, and it's, again, I think you have all the right to do that. People shouldn't judge you for that. Whether like people that have to raise their prices, they're in a position where they have to. Some people aren't, so they shouldn't judge you for that. If anybody's listening and saying, "Why didn't you raise prices? You're ruining the market." Sorry, I mean, some people don't have to. Like
my bad.
Yeah,
I did raise my prices at some point. I did go through a wave. Like, I mean, my company is going to turn 4 years old in the fall. So there was a point like halfway through where I did have to raise my prices because I was just starting. I kind of did the same thing where it was like I let it catch up. I started like kind of breaking even, and I was like, okay, I gotta up it a little bit. That way I'm not paying people. No, I'm not buying everybody coffee at this point.
Yeah,
I'm going in debt because I'm just trying to. But I won't do that. But
right.
But I do have some people like family that I do give coffee free. I pay for it.
Yeah.
Like my brother, I give him a subscription and I pay for it. It's fine. I love it. I'm like, I want you to, experience this coffee. So I love that stuff, man. And it all, I always believe it comes back to you. So,
Oh yeah,
and I can see it.
that's what I want to get really down to is a good deed never goes unpunished, and I think that's used in like a negative connotation, but I always looked at it like kind of like not what's that word where like you do something and something comes back to you. We'll think of it, but
Starts with a C, I think.
yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna bug me.
But yeah, I think there's a lot to that. I mean, if you're spiritual or you have some kind of belief in good deeds, then yeah, I think if you show that, then it'll come back to you, whatever that
Thinking
word
of the
is.
word. I'm
Yeah.
like drifting off thinking about the word.
Anyway.
No, I agree for sure.
Karma.
See, bro. I knew it was in there somewhere.
Okay.
I do this funny thing where I forget a word, and I go through the alphabet, and I usually find the word.
Yeah.
Brittany laughs at me every time I do it.
That's a smart strategy. That's just smart.
Like when somebody's name, I'm like looking at the person.
ABC. So yeah, that's where coffee's at. One thing that I did want to bring up, or ending with the cost of coffee, because it is a downer sometimes talking about how much coffee is and blah blah blah. Processes or things that you're seeing in the coffee world where it's like experimental. I know before we talked about a process in which you take the juice of either coffee or cherry or something else. Remind me of the name of that. Co-ferment.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot through another local supplier that they're doing a lot with blueberries and oranges, and they're, I believe it's co-fermenting with coffee beans, and they're roasting it after that. Anything like that, are you seeing like something new, or is it kind of still staying to that standard, like the new age coffee? Is there anything else that you're seeing or reading or hearing about, or is it kind of stuck in that this fad? I don't want to say fad, but this process.
Yeah. I haven't seen much just because with coffee price. I've been looking more at coffee prices of conventional coffee rather than looking at what's happening with new like experimental coffee. But what I was seeing was a lot of new age experiments going on with how to ferment your coffee, and especially in like co-ferment with different juices, like you're saying. I saw a lot of that. The last one I saw was pretty crazy. They let the coffee seeds soak in like molasses, and then they also let it soak in like kumquat juice. I thought it was gonna be great, but it actually like was funky.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I came to a point where I was like, I think you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Because I like a nice clean cup of coffee. I mean, I like coffee at its pureness. So it's like I like when they kind of do like more natural processes that aren't too crazy, that just highlight the coffee. But now that they're like starting to implement all this stuff, I think you can go a little bit too hardcore with it. And I think it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you kind of took everything out of the coffee and just put all your own stuff in it. I like when it's kind of like, it mixes well together. What I have experienced with these new aged methods, you can do too much. And it's just funky. And there's like a funky taste to it that I don't really like, especially that molasses one. I was like, no, I'm not down. So it's like if I ever see like sugarcane processed or molasses processed or anything funky outside of like fruit juices that aren't just like pure and like simple, I don't think I'm going to be into it. And who knows like the health benefits at that point. They haven't been studied yet. It's so new that no one's talking about it. No one's studying like the health benefits of these new coffees. So who knows what's actually going on with it. So I kind of like, I do like your normal, like high graded, good quality cups of coffee that like were picked right. A big thing right now in coffee is people are stripping coffee, and stripping means like you're pulling, ripe with unripe with half ripe beans off of the plant and just processing them like that and getting it out the door, and that way you can sell it faster because coffee prices are so high. So it's a little, I hate that. Like I like where people kind of stick to the plan and they hand pick and they pick out the ripe ones. And it's cool seeing, it's nice knowing that the coffee that you're buying is getting picked properly. I think that's huge. Because otherwise you just get a lot of like inconsistency in your cup. You're gonna roast it and you're gonna see like a lot of unevenness in the beans. You're gonna get a lot of like uneven flavors when you're drinking it, and it's just like, what's wrong with this coffee, you know? So that's an important thing to look for right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm afraid that people are gonna take away what makes coffee when I see stuff like that. And I never really paid attention to any of that stuff, but there is somebody local that is doing a lot of that. And like I asked myself, why are you just doing it to be different? Do you like really want to be experimental, or you're trying to find flavor? Because it seems like they're just doing it to do it, and there's no real reason behind it, other than just to be like outside of the box, which isn't a bad thing.
It'd be cool to like talk to the individual, be like, hey, what are you thinking? Like, are you trying to take bad coffee and make it good? Or are you just experimenting? like what's going on?
That's a good point, and I think that's fair. That's a fair thing to ask of myself, is really see where that person is coming from and like what they're trying to accomplish with all these fermentations with their coffee bean and then roasting it after fermenting is done. Like, again, I'm afraid that people are trying to take the coffee out of coffee and just trying to make it something unnecessary. But you're right. Maybe they're trying to take bad coffee and trying to put the good back into it.
Yeah,
it's a very good half class, or like a half.
Which is cool too. It's cool and not cool, because if the farmer's doing it, okay, here's the split that I kind of don't like about it. If you have the farmer taking a bad crop and doing this new age process to it just to sell it at a higher price because it's got this funky, if it's got a process attached to it, just the name, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because then you don't know that crop sucked, and they just tried doing this, like, they just tried putting the name on it, the stamp on it. That sucks, because you don't really know. It's hard to track. Or if you have the roaster doing that, that's a little different, because they've already got like the bean that's already been processed, and now they're kind of just trying to add to it in a way. But there's got to be that you know, that conversation or whatever, the information on the bag or wherever you buy it from, like, hey, this is an experiment. Like, this is the coffee that we had. This is what we did to it. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Rather than just putting a name on it.
Right.
Because then it gets lost. So it's nice to know all the way down the line what happened to that coffee.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so much can happen. And I just don't like that unknown.
Right.
I'd rather just drink a pure, unfermented coffee at that point.
Yeah.
Because I at least know how it was picked, how it was processed, how it was roasted. Nothing was done to it. And I get to enjoy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variables that can happen, and a lot of it doesn't have to be written down. So it's good to do your research.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't know your research and you want to support the bag of coffee that you're buying, ask.
Yeah.
Any roaster that I know, like me or yourself, will be happy to tell you where it came from, what we did to it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's on my website most of the time. So
Yep.
I agree with that. I do think there is some due diligence where you have to really know where you're getting your coffee from. Study what you like. If you want to make any kind of effort in knowing anything about coffee, find out what you like and then learn about it, because then it'll give you the opportunity to like grow more knowledge in coffee processing and coffee taste and notes and preparation. So yeah, do your research. Make sure you're buying from somebody that knows what they're doing or has any kind of appreciation for coffee. Which really brings me to my next topic, and that's our upcoming trip tomorrow to Hacia. Now we're doing a cupping.
Stoked.
We're doing we usually do a cupping every year.
Yep, once a year trip.
And it's been usually to our green coffee supplier down in San Diego, but This year we're going to Hacia, which is up north in Orange, California.
Yep.
And we've tried, you've been in contact with them. You've been getting some of their coffee here at the shop and sharing it with all of us. And almost all hits, no misses. They've been really, a lot of them have been really good.
Yeah, so anybody doesn't know, we have always been ordering our coffee from ICT in San Diego, and they're freaking phenomenal. They always find us good coffee, bigger lots, all that stuff. We got to a point where we kind of needed another person coming in just because supply was down. So I met somebody last year at Coffee Fest, and they're another green coffee supplier in Orange, and they kind of specialize in the more expensive lots, the stuff that's more rare to get, the new age, like experimental coffees we're talking about, all these things. So I made a relationship with one of the guys. His name is Luke, and he found us like some good coffees that we used last year that we were able to use in house. Kind of saved us a few times, which was really cool. And so this year we're taking a trip there to do a cupping. I think we're all excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. So hopefully we get to cup some good coffees and kind of just establish our relationship there more. And we'll definitely have a recap.
Oh yeah, we'll have a
next
recap.
episode.
Definite recap just of our experiences with Hacia, because ICT, yeah, we do love them, and they've treated us well, but I am excited just because I've tasted some of their coffee and they've been really good, a lot of them. So I'm glad that we're doing something different, and we'll do a recap of next week. But these are one of these guys that we talk about how they put in the effort and research and kind of just like put in the work of making sure that they're shelling out quality coffee. Yeah. So I'm excited too. I can't wait to go taste their coffee and how they, present themselves and how they present their coffee and how they prep it. Now, especially now that I have a lot more knowledge than what I used to, because I only did the ICT trip twice. So this will be my third cupping, and I feel going into it, I feel a lot more knowledgeable. I feel a lot more confident.
Nice.
And like what to ask, and I feel confident in my palate, and that'd be cool if it grows into something bigger. And obviously we'll like ask them like, hey, would you ever want to come on the podcast, or can we mention you, shout out, or anything like that? Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. But that's something to look forward to for next episode, our experiences with coffee at Hacia.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So any last minute like tidbits about coffee? I know there's a lot to really process, but I want to save some of the small details for later episodes. But I just wanted to catch up on like what our coffee world is like right now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I could go down some rabbit holes on specific conversation, but we'll keep them for further episodes.
Cool. And then definitely, if anybody has any way and they want to share how they process or drink or where they get their coffee from, some local coffee shops, please share, and we'll shout them out next time, or we'll just talk about them. Maybe after their experiences, we'll give them a shout out, or just maybe they'll send us or give us like a reminder of like, oh yeah, we do that too.
Yeah.
So please make sure to share, like, subscribe, everything. We appreciate you guys, and until next episode, peace.